How do you choose the right printhead for a wall printer, and what actually sets the models on the market apart? If you're feeling lost in a sea of technical jargon and want to finally understand what determines the quality and speed of your work, then this episode is exactly for you. We've prepared a very detailed breakdown where we'll look closely at the most important parameters and compare the most popular printhead models used in the wall printing industry today. My goal is for you to have total clarity by the end of this video, knowing exactly what each solution is capable of and which model is the best fit for your business goals. First, I'll focus on the objective technical differences, and then I'll share our own insights based on years of hands-on experience. We're going to look at this as practitioners who are actually out there printing on walls and have tested several different models in real-world conditions. And if you don't know me yet, hi, I'm Rafael from Wall Printers. On this channel, we dive deep into the business and technology of the wall printing industry. Let's get started. Before we dive into specific models, I want to explain a few basic concepts. Without understanding these fundamentals, it will be hard to grasp why there are such big differences in efficiency between different printheads. So, what does a wall printer head actually look like? In the wall printing world, we use terms that sound very similar, a head and a printhead, which can be really confusing when you're just starting out. So let me explain. Every wall printer has this large main unit that moves up and down the vertical mast. Most of the time, people just call this the head in casual conversation. But if you want to be professional, the real name for it is the carriage. Think of it like a carriage on a train, carrying everything it needs. Now, this carriage is made up of many smaller components, and one of the most important parts inside it is the printhead itself. It's the engine that actually does the work, and that is what we are going to focus on today. The first things you'll notice on a printhead are the small tubes on the back called pins. This is where the dampers, small ink filters, are attached. Each pin usually corresponds to a different ink channel or color. The front part is the printing side, which has a shiny mirror-like surface. This plate faces the wall, and it's the most sensitive part of the device. It contains rows of nozzles so small you can't see them with the naked eye. This is the part that actually prints the image onto the wall. You'll also see ribbon cables connected to the top and bottom. These allow the printer's computer to send instructions, telling the printhead exactly when to fire a green drop or a yellow one. It's not just a sieve that ink leaks through, it's an advanced processor firing thousands of droplets every split second. Now, let's talk about the three most important specs: the number of nozzles, the MPI, and the droplet size. To understand the nozzle count, imagine the printhead is a team of tiny painters standing in front of a wall. Each nozzle is one painter with a brush. The speed at which your image is finished depends directly on how many painters you have working at once. For example, a model like the F1080 has 1,080 nozzles. While 1,000 painters sounds like a lot, in the world of printheads, that's a relatively small crew. They have to work much faster or make more passes to cover the same area effectively. In contrast, the i3200 printhead has 3,200 nozzles. That's a massive army of professionals working side by side, which is why it prints so much faster. It simply puts more ink on the wall in every single pass. The next term is NPI, or nozzles per inch. Think of this as the density of those painters. Imagine taking a regular hair comb, dipping it in paint, and dragging it across a piece of paper. If the teeth are far apart, you'll have a lot of white space between the lines. To cover the paper completely, you'd have to go over it many times. But if you use a comb with very fine, dense teeth, you get a solid block of color almost immediately. In the F1080, the MPI is 180, which is like the wider comb. It needs more passes to fill the gaps. The i3200 has an MPI of 400, which is more than double the density. It leaves a nearly perfect solid line of color in one go, allowing for much faster printing with great saturation. Finally, we have the droplet size. Think of this as choosing between a fine detail brush and a thick marker. In our industry, a smaller droplet means higher resolution and smoother gradients, which is vital for printing faces or clear skies. However, because our machines work vertically and ink has to travel through the air to hit the wall, sometimes with slight breezes or over uneven surfaces, the droplet needs enough mass to hit the target accurately. The i3200 can fire a tiny 2.5 picoliter drop, making details like eyelashes or small text look razor sharp. The F1080 starts at 3.8 picoliters, which is more like a solid marker. From about 20 centimeters away, a trained eye might just see the dot structure. The good news is you don't have to choose just one size. Most modern printheads use VSDT, or variable size droplet technology. These are smart heads. If the design includes a detailed eye, the machine instantly recognizes it and fires the smallest possible droplets. In that moment, it acts just like a tiny, precise detail brush. But when it moves on to fill a huge blue sky, it doesn't waste time with microdots. It switches to larger 7 picoliter drops, which work like a wide brush to cover the area much faster. Now that the basics are clear, let's get into the meat of the comparison. We aren't just reading from a manufacturer's catalog here. We've spent years working with different printheads in the most challenging battle conditions on real customer sites. And to be completely honest, we haven't been easy on our equipment, but we did that on purpose so we could find out exactly where the limits are. I want to give you the full picture, so I've divided this into two stages. First, we'll look at the cold technical facts and what the manufacturers claim. Then at the end, I'll give you our expert commentary on what we actually think about them. We'll be comparing the market standards like the Ricoh GH2220 and the Epson DX7 against the solutions we use daily, the Epson F1080 and the groundbreaking i3200. We'll also look at budget options like the DX10 and XP600, which you've probably heard a lot about. We're going to judge them on 5 categories. First, real efficiency. How many square meters can you actually print in an hour? Second, print culture and MPI. How well does it handle banding on large formats? Third, real-world wall performance. How does it handle wall curvature or changing environments? Fourth, the total cost of ownership. What does it cost to maintain and replace over 2 years? And finally, component authenticity. Where do these parts actually come from? Are they industrial grade or just adapted home office parts? The first model is the Epson DX10, also known as the TX800. Technically, it uses micro-piezo technology with 6 color channels and 1080 nozzles. Micro-piezo is a classic Epson system where an electrical pulse causes a crystal to flex and push a drop of ink out. Kind of like squeezing a tube of toothpaste with a quick, firm tap. It's a solid technology because it doesn't use heat, so the ink doesn't overheat or degrade. However, the DX10 has a relatively large droplet size compared to newer models. This means the detail isn't as sharp and gradients can look a bit rough. More importantly, this printhead is notorious for clogging, especially with UV inks. You'll find yourself constantly stopping to clean it, which ruins your workflow on large projects. While it might look okay on paper with a speed of about 1 square meter per hour, in the real world, it's just not stable. It's very hard to get consistent results, and that's a massive risk when you're halfway through a big job for a client. When it comes to the cost of ownership, we actually decided to leave the DX10 out of our financial comparisons entirely. The reason is simple. You can't build a reliable business on it. Epson officially stopped producing these years ago. Most of what you find on the market today are used parts or units that have been refurbished multiple times. Their lifespan with UV ink is usually only 1 to 3 months at most. It's a total gamble. And honestly, it's not a risk worth taking. Next, we have 2 models that look almost identical, the Epson F1080 and the XP600. People confuse them all the time because they both have 6 channels, 1080 nozzles, and a 3.8 picoliter droplet size. But under the hood, there's a massive gap. The XP600 was designed for home printers, the kind you use to print documents or photos on paper. Because it was cheap and had a decent resolution, some manufacturers adapted it to work with harsh UV and eco-solvent inks. It's often called the DX11. In response, Epson released the F1080 as an official industrial version. It has the same architecture, but a much tougher internal structure designed to handle high-frequency work and chemical exposure. XP600 units are often reclaimed or modified parts, which explains why they are so cheap. In contrast, the F1080 comes through official industrial channels, giving you the reliability you need for professional work. We've found the F1080 provides a stable 1 square meter per hour, which is the sweet spot for high-quality decorative work. The XP600, on the other hand, tends to fail under the heavy load of UV printing, leading to clogs and downtime just when you can't afford it. Let's look at the 2-year cost. An XP600 costs about €350, but since it typically lasts only 3 months, you'll need 8 of them over 2 years, totaling €2,800. An F1080 costs about €580, but it lasts around 7.5 months. Statistically, you'd only need about 4 of them. That means even though the F1080 is more expensive to buy, you actually save about €500 over 2 years, and you avoid the headache of constant breakdowns. The F1080 is a market standard for small to medium projects. For large, wide-format jobs, you just have to follow specific procedures. We recommend a pump and clean procedure every 40 minutes to keep the channels fresh, especially if the design uses a lot of one color. You can pause the machine, clean, and then resume without any visible marks on the wall. We also always recommend using rails instead of wheels for these big jobs. This keeps everything perfectly level and reduces vibrations, which is vital for a sharp image. For tough gradients, you can increase the passes to 12 and use the feathering function to blend the edges perfectly. Then there's the Epson DX7. For years, this was the industry legend. It has 8 rows of 180 nozzles, 1,440 in total, and a 3.5 picoliter drop. It's known for high print culture and smooth transitions at about 1 square meter per hour. But here is the reality check. The era of the DX7 is ending. Brand new units are being phased out by Epson, and finding a genuine factory new one is nearly impossible. Most of what's left are refurbished units with unclear histories. Plus, many of these printheads have double locks or second coding, meaning you need extra decoder boards, which just makes the machine more complicated. A reliable DX7 costs around €1,300. Over 2 years, assuming a lifespan of about 10 months, you're looking at a cost of over €3,800. You also have to be careful of bulk deals or printheads without holograms. These are often chemically cleaned parts pulled from old machines. When we compare it to the F1080, the quality is similar, but the F1080 is a modern, unlocked design. If you accidentally hit a wall or get a permanent clog, replacing an F1080 is much easier on your wallet than a DX7. Plus, with the F1080, you get a genuine Epson hologram so you know exactly what you're buying. Now we move into a completely different league, the Epson i3200. If the other printheads are reliable workhorses, the i3200 is the Formula One car of wall printing. It doesn't use the old micro-piezo technology. Instead, it uses precision core micro-TFP, created with the same MEMS process used to make computer chips. The precision is microscopic. This technology creates a perfect drop. Every single one of the 3200 droplets is identical and fired in the exact same direction. This eliminates the mist or haze around the print that you sometimes see with older tech. It's like a hummingbird. Everything is smaller, denser, and much faster. This gives you a speed of 2 to 2.5 square meters per hour. You're finishing jobs twice as fast as the other models while maintaining incredible quality. We recently put this to the test on a massive 36 square meter project, the largest of its kind in Poland and possibly Europe. Normally that would take several days, but the i3200 cut that time in half. That is more money in your pocket and more free time. The i3200 is also much better at masking wall imperfections and vibrations, practically eliminating banding. It handles huge solid areas of color beautifully. Economically, it's a bigger upfront investment at about 1,750 euros, but it lasts much longer, around 15 months. Over 2 years, you'll likely only use 2 printheads, costing you 3,500 euros. Since it's twice as fast and much more stable, it's the most profitable choice for companies that want to work on a large scale. Finally, we have the Ricoh GH2220. In wall printing, you usually see this in a 5-head configuration, 1 head for each CMYK color and 1 for white. Ricoh uses a piston pusher technology with a metal membrane. Imagine a tiny syringe being tapped very precisely from the top. This fires the ink with a lot of force, which makes the print head very durable and forgiving when using thicker inks. Now let's look at the technical specs. Each of these 5 heads has 384 nozzles arranged in 2 rows. Across the entire 5-head system, this gives us a total of 1,920 nozzles. The minimum droplet size here is 3 picoliters. And just like the other models, this system fully supports VSDT variable drop technology. From a business owner's perspective, this multi-head setup offers many possibilities, but it also requires a lot of discipline when it comes to daily maintenance. The reason is simple. You have more parts to look after and monitor constantly. This attention to detail has a direct impact on your wallet. Statistics from major distributors are quite clear. With this setup, a failure in just one printhead is an expensive problem. Without the right care, you might face issues with individual modules on average every 3 months. I also have to mention that many Ricoh-based machines lack an automated cleaning system or auto-purge. This means as an operator, you never have 100% certainty that the entire 5-head system is perfectly clear before you start. In wall printing, where a mistake on a client's wall causes huge stress and wasted time, that lack of automation is a significant risk. Then there is the risk of a crash. When you're printing on a wall, hitting a patch of uneven plaster is a real danger. If you have a strong collision with a 5-head assembly, the shock can knock the whole matrix out of alignment or cause permanent damage. Replacing the complete set is a heavy cost for any business. Looking at the economics, a full 5-head setup costs about 2,900 euros. Assuming an average lifespan of 18 months, you have to expect to replace the whole set at least once over a 2-year period, bringing your total cost for parts to 5,800 euros. In terms of speed, the Ricoh GH2220 offers between 2 and 2.5 square meters per hour, which is similar to the i3200. The difference is that the i3200 reaches that speed with just one single unit, which eliminates the color synchronization issues that can sometimes be a nightmare with multi-head systems. But overall, the Ricoh is a solid industrial product that handles tough conditions and long hours very well. We've gone through the facts and technical specs of all the most popular printheads. Now it's time for the most important part of this video, the summary and our conclusions. Take a look at the table on the screen right now. We've put all the data together, from the purchase price and real-world lifespan to the total cost of operation over 2 years. If you want to open it on your computer and take a closer look at the numbers, you'll find a link in the description below. Numbers don't lie. Choosing a printhead isn't just about how nice the print looks. It is primarily a business decision about the profitability of your company. We want to be completely honest with you, based on our years of experience in this industry. Let's start with the model we worked with for years, the Epson DX7. We have a lot of respect for this printhead because it was a true legend. However, you need to know why, together with our machine manufacturer, we decided to completely withdraw the DX7 from our offer. The reason is simple. Today, the era of the DX7 is inevitably coming to an end. Finding a brand new original unit is almost impossible. The market is flooded with refurbished units pulled from old machines, which is basically a technological lottery. We simply don't want to take responsibility for a component that doesn't guarantee consistency. For the same reason, you won't find budget solutions like the DX10 or XP600 in our machines. Their low upfront price is an illusion. When you calculate the costs of downtime, wasted ink, and the need to replace the printhead every 2 or 3 months, it turns out to be the most expensive path you can take. When service and downtime costs are high, this can really hurt your margins. Our choice, and what you will find in our current offer, comes down to 2 specific models, the Epson F1080 and the i3200. And this isn't by accident. For us, the F1080 is the perfect financial safety net for people starting out in the industry with a limited budget. It offers stable quality, and if an operator makes a mistake or there's mechanical damage, the replacement cost of a little over 500 euros won't ruin your business. On the other hand, for companies focused on large-scale work and industrial efficiency, the only logical choice is the i3200. This printhead represents a new era in wall printing. Thanks to precision core technology and massive nozzle density, it practically eliminates the problem of banding and allows you to print twice as fast as any other alternative. By choosing these models, you're getting printheads from current, official distribution that carry holograms proving their authenticity. As practitioners, we know that when you are doing a job on a client's wall, what really matters is peace of mind and the certainty that your equipment won't let you down halfway through the day. We hope that after this episode, the world of printheads has become much clearer for you and that you now understand why this small part inside the carriage has such a huge impact on your peace of mind and your bank balance. We've focused on hard data and our practical experience from the last few years of printing on walls for our clients. However, if you have any specific questions about your own situation or you're wondering which printhead would be best for your specific business goals, the easiest way to get answers is to fill out the contact form on our website. You'll find the link in the description. We will get back to you directly and we can talk about the details. And if you want to learn more about the wall printing industry itself, how the technology works behind the scenes, or how to run a successful business in this sector, definitely check out our playlist on the screen right now. You'll find a lot of useful information there that will help you at the beginning of your journey in the wall printing world. Thanks for staying with us today. If this technical breakdown was valuable to you, please subscribe and hit the bell icon and let us know in the comments what else you'd like to hear about. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.